Imagine hearing the heartbeat of your baby for the first time, and then realizing there are two in that moment. Excitement multiplies, dreams expand, and suddenly every decision carries twice the weight. Among all the preparations, tiny clothes, double cribs, and sleepless nights, one challenge quietly becomes more emotional than anyone expects: choosing two names. Names that will follow these children for the rest of their lives. Names that must sound right together, feel meaningful, and somehow capture the love already growing in a parent's heart. But what happens when opinions clash? Meanings matter, family traditions collide, and the perfect combination feels impossible to find. In the journey of a twin pregnancy, selecting two names becomes far more than a simple choice. It becomes a deeply personal story about identity, connection, and the hopes parents hold for two lives that will begin together. A twin pregnancy is filled with wonder, anticipation, and a unique set of emotional experiences that most parents never imagine until they are living them. Everything feels double to heartbeats, two personalities waiting to emerge, and to futures beginning at the same moment. Yet one of the most surprising challenges parents face is choosing names that feel equally special, meaningful, and balanced for both children. The process can bring joy, laughter, deep reflection, and sometimes unexpected disagreements as parents search for the perfect combination that represents their family, their values, and their dreams. In this video, we will explore the emotional journey behind naming twins, the conflicts, the symbolism, the creativity, and the beautiful responsibility of giving to new lives their first identity. If you enjoy thoughtful stories about family, life, and meaningful decisions, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. The moment parents discover they are expecting twins, the world seems to expand in ways they never imagined before. What once felt like a singular journey suddenly becomes a shared beginning for two lives growing side by side. With that realization comes a cascade of practical and emotional decisions, but few carry the symbolic weight of choosing names. A name is more than a sound. It is a lifelong companion, an identity whispered thousands of times across childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. When two babies are arriving at once, the challenge multiplies. Parents begin to imagine how the names will sound together, how they will be written side by side on school papers, birthday cakes, and future achievements. The search for harmony between the two names often becomes an unexpected puzzle. It is not simply about choosing two beautiful names, but about finding a pair that feels balanced, meaningful, and connected without overshadowing each other. In the quiet moments of reflection, parents realize that naming twins is not only about creativity but about shaping the first chapter of two intertwined stories. For many families, the naming process begins with excitement and endless possibilities. Lists appear on kitchen tables, notes are saved on phones, and conversations stretch late into the night as parents share ideas and inspirations. Some names come from family traditions, honoring grandparents or beloved relatives whose memories still echo through the household. Others are inspired by literature, history, or cultural heritage. But when two names must be chosen simultaneously, the process can quickly become more complicated. Parents may fall in love with a name that feels perfect for one child, but struggle to find another that carries the same emotional weight. Suddenly, the question is not only about beauty or meaning, but about balance. If one name feels powerful and unique, while the other feels common or simple, the harmony between them can feel incomplete. This delicate balancing act often leads parents deeper into reflection, searching for combinations that feel equal in strength, warmth, and individuality. Another layer of complexity appears when parents begin to consider how closely the names should relate to one another. Some families prefer names that mirror each other in sound or rhythm, creating a sense of unity that reflects the unique bond twins share. Others intentionally avoid names that sound too similar, fearing that the children might feel their individuality is overshadowed. The line between connection and confusion can be surprisingly thin. Names that rhyme or begin with the same letter may sound charming at first, but parents sometimes worry that these similarities could blur the identities of two distinct individuals. As they imagine calling their children across a playground or introducing them to teachers and friends, they begin to weigh the subtle differences that might matter years later. In this stage of the process, naming twins becomes less about aesthetics and more about imagining the lives those names will travel through. The emotional dimension of choosing names often grows stronger as the pregnancy progresses. Each ultrasound image, each tiny movement felt within the mother's body, transforms the idea of two babies into two emerging personalities. Parents begin to wonder who these children will become and whether certain names feel more aligned with the energy they sense. Even without meeting them yet, many parents feel an intuitive connection forming. One name may evoke calmness and depth, while another might carry a sense of brightness and adventure. The challenge lies in ensuring that both names feel equally thoughtful and intentional. No parent wants one child to feel like their name was chosen with less care or imagination. This desire for fairness can lead families to revisit their choices repeatedly, refining and reshaping their lists until each name feels like a perfect reflection of love and attention. Conflicts sometimes emerge during this process, particularly when parents bring different cultural backgrounds, traditions, or personal memories into the conversation. One parent may feel strongly about honoring a family lineage, while the other hopes to choose something modern and original. These differences can transform the naming process into a negotiation filled with emotion and vulnerability. Yet within these disagreements lies an opportunity for deeper understanding. By sharing the stories and feelings behind their preferences, parents often discover new layers of meaning they had not considered before. A name that once seemed ordinary might suddenly carry powerful emotional significance after hearing the memories attached to it. In this way, the challenge of naming twins becomes a moment of connection between parents, reminding them that the journey of raising children will involve many decisions shaped by compromise, empathy, and shared dreams. As parents continue exploring possibilities, they often begin to think about the meanings behind the names themselves. Many names carry ancient roots connected to virtues, elements of nature, or symbolic qualities such as strength, wisdom, light, or resilience. For twins, these meanings can feel especially important because they offer a subtle narrative linking the two identities. Some parents choose names whose meanings complement each other, like sun and moon, courage and grace, or hope and harmony. Others search for meanings that represent qualities they wish to nurture in their children as they grow. This symbolic layer transforms the naming process into something almost poetic. It allows parents to imagine the future personalities of their children while embedding a quiet message of intention within the names themselves. Each syllable becomes part of a story that begins long before the babies take their first breaths. Practical considerations also play a surprising role in choosing names for twins. Parents often think about how the names will appear visually when written together, considering the length of each name and how naturally they flow side by side. A very long name paired with a very short one may feel unbalanced to some families, while others enjoy the contrast. Pronunciation becomes another important factor, especially in multicultural environments where names may be spoken in different languages. Parents may wonder whether teachers, friends, or relatives will easily pronounce the names or whether they might be constantly corrected. These small details may seem trivial at first, but over time they shape the daily experiences of the children who carry those names. By imagining these everyday interactions, parents begin to refine their choices with greater care and awareness. The opinions of friends and family can add both inspiration and pressure to the process. Grandparents might offer suggestions rooted in tradition, while siblings and relatives contribute ideas influenced by modern trends or popular culture. Although these contributions often come from a place of love, they can sometimes complicate the decision-making process. Parents may feel torn between honoring loved ones and preserving their own vision for the names. For twins, the stakes feel even higher because every suggestion must be considered in pairs. A name that sounds wonderful on its own may not fit naturally with another, leading parents back to the drawing board once again. Through this process, many families learn to listen respectfully to outside opinions while ultimately trusting their own instincts about what feels right. Another interesting dynamic appears when parents begin to imagine the personalities their twins might develop. Even though twins share a womb and a birthday, they often grow into individuals with very different temperaments, interests, and ways of seeing the world. Some parents intentionally choose names that reflect this individuality, selecting combinations that feel distinct yet harmonious. Others lean toward names that emphasize unity, celebrating the special connection twins share from the very beginning. The decision often reflects the philosophy parents hold about identity and belonging. Do they want the names to highlight the bond between the children, or do they want them to emphasize the uniqueness of each child's journey? There is no single correct answer, only the delicate balance of intuition and imagination guiding each family's choice. As the months pass and the due date approaches, the naming process often becomes more emotional. The once abstract idea of two babies transforms into a tangible reality as parents prepare nurseries, fold tiny clothes, and imagine the first moment they will finally see their children. In these quiet moments of preparation, the chosen names begin to feel more real as well. Parents may whisper them softly, testing how they sound when spoken with affection. They may write them down repeatedly, visualizing them on birth announcements or future school projects. This gentle rehearsal allows the names to settle naturally into the rhythm of family life, making them feel less like decisions and more like discoveries waiting to unfold. Sometimes the final choice arrives unexpectedly after weeks or months of uncertainty. A particular combination of names suddenly resonates with both parents, bringing a sense of calm and certainty that had been missing before. In that moment, the search feels complete, not because every possible option has been explored, but because the chosen names simply feel right. This intuitive recognition often surprises parents who had previously analyzed every detail with careful logic. It reminds them that naming a child is not purely an intellectual exercise, but also an emotional experience shaped by instinct and love. For twins, this moment of clarity can feel even more meaningful because it signals the beginning of two identities growing together. However, even after making a decision, some parents continue to reflect on their choices as the birth approaches. They imagine the children introducing themselves in classrooms, signing their names on drawings, or hearing them called during important milestones in life. These visualizations help parents confirm that the names feel strong and adaptable enough to accompany their children through every stage of life. A name that sounds adorable for a baby must also carry dignity and confidence for an adult. When two names must pass this test simultaneously, the sense of responsibility can feel profound. Yet this reflection often strengthens parents' connection to their choices, reminding them that they have selected names capable of growing alongside their children. The unique bond between twins adds another dimension to the naming experience. Twins often share a connection that feels almost mysterious, as if their lives are intertwined in ways that go beyond ordinary sibling relationships. Many parents hope that the names they choose will quietly honor this bond without limiting the individuality of each child. Some combinations achieve this balance through subtle similarities in rhythm or origin, while others rely on deeper symbolic connections that only the parents fully understand. These hidden threads create a sense of unity that may remain invisible to outsiders but meaningful within the family. Over time, the names become part of the twins' shared story, reminding them of the special beginning they experienced together. As the twins grow older, the names chosen before their birth begin to take on new layers of meaning shaped by personality and experience. A name that once felt abstract becomes inseparable from the child who carries it, influenced by laughter, curiosity, challenges, and achievements. Parents often discover that the names they once debated so carefully now feel perfectly suited to their children's identities. This transformation reveals one of the most beautiful aspects of naming, the way a simple word can evolve into a living reflection of a person's character. For twins, this evolution happens twice, creating two unique narratives that began with the same moment of anticipation. In some families, the story behind the names becomes a cherished memory shared with the children as they grow older. Parents may describe the long evenings spent searching for the right combination, the debates over meanings and sounds, and the moment when the final decision finally felt clear. These stories often fascinate children, offering them a glimpse into the love and thoughtfulness that surrounded their arrival. Twins may even compare their names playfully, discovering the subtle connections or differences that shaped their parents' choices. Through these conversations, the naming process becomes part of family history, a reminder that every identity begins with an act of intention. The experience of naming twins also teaches parents an unexpected lesson about balance and perspective. It reminds them that life rarely offers simple solutions when something deeply meaningful is at stake. Instead, it invites patience, creativity, and emotional openness as they navigate the complexities of two lives beginning simultaneously. This lesson often echoes throughout parenthood, where many decisions require similar thoughtfulness and care. By embracing the challenge of choosing two names that feel equally meaningful, parents strengthen their ability to approach future choices with the same sense of curiosity and compassion. Ultimately, the journey of selecting names for twins reflects the broader journey of parenthood itself. It is a process shaped by dreams, uncertainties, compromises, and moments of surprising clarity. Through this experience, parents learn that the most meaningful decisions often emerge not from perfection but from connection. The names they choose become the first gift they offer their children, carrying within them hopes, stories, and a sense of belonging that will accompany them throughout life. For twins, these names mark the beginning of two paths that start together but gradually unfold in their own unique directions. When the day finally arrives and the twins are born, the names spoken for the first time in the hospital room carry a profound sense of completion. After months of reflection and anticipation, the words now belong to real faces, tiny hands, and new voices waiting to grow. In that moment, the long search for the perfect combination fades into the background, replaced by the simple wonder of meeting the children whose identities those names will represent. The names no longer feel like choices but like natural extensions of the lives that have just begun, quietly anchoring the beginning of two extraordinary journeys. Choosing names for twins may seem like a simple task at first, but it often becomes a deeply emotional journey filled with reflection, creativity, and love. Within those two names lie the hopes parents hold for their children and the first step in shaping two identities that will grow side by side yet follow their own paths. The process reveals how meaningful even the smallest decisions can become when they touch the beginning of a new life. In the end, the perfect names are not always the most popular or the most unique, but the ones that feel genuine and heartfelt. They become the first gift parents give to their children, a quiet promise that both lives are welcomed, valued, and celebrated from the very first moment.